What's going on, everybody? It's your boy the Fireman, and today we're back with another reaction video. Today we are back with Young Don, the Sauce God. We are here with my church camp girlfriend. Now, by this thumbnail, it looks like he about to catch him a little baddie, but I'm excited for this video. Let's get on into it.
So she's home all day having to deal with this. And if it's one thing that Jamaican women cannot stand, it's a weak man. So on one hand, she's sympathizing with me, right? She feels bad that her baby
strong
boy
man
is heartbroken over his first real love. But on the other hand, right, she's like, hey, stop, right? Like, get over it. You're 17 and tall. Stop crying.
My church camp
In
girlfriend.
life, it's important to know who you are and what you bring to the table. Do you remember my ex from high school? That's a shorty from the My Toxic High School Relationship videos, you know. I don't think she fuck with me like that no more, man. Here's why. I think somebody told her about the videos, you know? And without watching them, she just assumed that I was talking shit, you know, because of the title. When in reality, I took the majority of the responsibility for all of the dysfunction that occurred in that relationship. So sometime last year, I shot her a DM, just saying what's up, and she brought up the videos and seemed pretty unhappy.
She mad.
So I feel like I should make something abundantly clear. If I didn't make it clear in those videos, I loved this girl, like a lot. Worst heartbreak of my life. You know, because nothing hurts quite like your first real love. We broke up over the phone. It was a summer break after high school graduation. I was in Jamaica visiting my family right before I went off to college. And bro, when I say that I was depressed, just moping around the house all day. And whenever I go visit my mom in Jamaica, right, she tries to get some time off from work.
That's how it be though sometimes when you lose the first one.
So she's home
First one be a little tough,
having to deal with this. And if it's one
thing
that
just
Jamaican
keep on moving.
women
Keep on moving, you be good.
Is a weak man. So on one hand, she's sympathizing with me, right? She feels bad that her baby boy is heartbroken over his first real love. But on the other hand, right, she's like, hey, stop, right? Like, get over it. You're 17 and tall. Stop crying. So to help me get over this heartbreak, she signs me up for church camp. Now, understand, my mother took me to church every Sunday until I moved to America at 16 years old. And not once in 16 years did she ever consider sending me to church camp. You know? Do you see where I'm going with this? I was being such a bitch about the breakup that my mother was like, this nigga needs Jesus. Ain't nothing else gonna help him. So fast forward to the first day of camp, and I get dropped off at the spot where the buses were gonna pick us up and take us to the campsite. And not excited, right? For one, I was going through a phase in my life where I was questioning God. I was saying shit like, I don't know if I believe in a God in the traditional Judeo-Christian sense of the word, but I'm still like spiritual, you know? I meditate. I was being that fucking gaylord, you know what I mean? And I also thought just the idea of church camp was lame, right? Like, no cool kids are going to church camp at 17, right? So I walk up to the signing table and I'm looking around and I'm just like, hold on.
There ain't nobody there.
Man, I'm not even sure if I'm the coolest guy here.
No.
Why do all these kids look normal? Everybody there seemed like cool people, right? It was like 60 to 70 of us. Probably 50-50 guys and girls. And everyone's around the same age. So now I'm like nervous because I don't know anybody here and I've never done anything like this. So I'm standing there and then I spot this cute little shorty. She's standing by herself. No one's talking to her. So I'm like, guess who's about to make a friend? So I go over and start talking, small talk, and to my surprise, her Jamaican accent was very weak, like mine. Turns out we were both visiting from America, and we both lived like 20 minutes apart in Florida. So that was like my in. I found some common ground to stand on. But of course, after I get the balls to go and talk to her, right? Other niggas start trying to squeeze their way into our conversation, right? Because remember, these are young Jamaican men. They ain't just gonna sit back and watch me call dibs on all the cuties, you feel me? So I see what's happening, and I pull back, because I wasn't trying to crowd this girl. Even at 17, I knew that. So I go find some other people to talk to. Finally, it's time to get on the buses. I get on, I find a seat by the window, and I get comfortable, right? So I'm sitting there, and then Shorty gets on the same bus. She comes down the aisle, stops at my bench, and is like, hey, is it cool if I sit here? So of course, you know, I gotta play cool, right? So I'm like, oh,
Yeah. Go on, sit down.
take a seat. Meanwhile, on the inside, just gave my life back to Jesus. Why? Because obviously, there is a God, and he fucks with your boy. So the bus takes off, and we have like an hour and change to
Did he
drive
get the girl,
to get to
though?
the campsite. And the
the question.
entire time, we're just chopping it up, you know? I'm cracking jokes, she's laughing, and I'm like, okay, I might be in there. So we get to campsite, and orientation begins, right? We get a rundown for what we're gonna do on a daily basis, where we can and can't go in our free time, all of that. So the camp lasted about 10 days, and in a nutshell, one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life, right? Not gonna pretend like I became this wholesome church boy after it was done, but it did reopen my mind to the whole God thing in a positive way. And come on, right? A little bit of Jesus
Not
ain't
bad.
never hurt nobody. I mean, sure, there was the whole like crusades thing. That was pretty bad. And then Europeans did use Christianity as a brainwashing tool during the enslavement of black people in America.
He went back deep with it.
And then they did do the thing with the Native American. You know what? My
He was going
church
deep.
camp experience was pretty good. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say. I made a ton of friends, we played a lot of sports, we did bonfires. It was fun, right? And the entire time, I was still trying to get closer to Shorty. Sometimes we ate lunch together. By the time my game was practically non-existent, right? I've had one serious girlfriend at this point in my life, so I couldn't take a solid temperature read on this girl at all. So for like the first 5 days, right, I hung out with her when it was convenient. I did it in a way where I tried not to seem like I was trying to be
Trying
around
too
her.
hard.
But, you know, I'm seeing other dudes trying to talk to her. Also, I realized that I was running out of time. And it got to a point where I was like, if anything is gonna happen, I gotta make a move.
Gotta do it now. You just gotta
now it's
jump
the
in
next
there.
day, right? The 6th day of camp. And
Just
that
gotta ask
night,
her, man.
we
Just
had this
gotta
little
ask her.
Christian concert thing, right? It was in this concert hall that was like 100 meters from the rest of the campsite. And I say meters because who the fuck knows what 328 feet looks like?
Everybody
so the
knows
concert
that.
ends, and as we're making our way back
Meters.
up the trail to get back to the
You should know
dorms,
both.
I
You
see
should try to know
Shorty,
both.
and she's walking with one of her girlfriends. And I decided that this was the time to pull the trigger. So I walk up to her, you know, I touch her on her hand, and I'm like, hey, can I holler at you real quick? She's like, yeah, what's up? And coincidentally,
Look,
it was
you
like the
tryna
little
be my
gazebo
boo?
thing, right off the
Tryna
side of
be
the
your
trail.
man? We
And
tryna
it
do
had
this
this
together.
very dim light keeping it lit. So I knew we could sit there and talk and not be super obvious to everyone, right? And low-key set a mood. So I bring her off to the side, right? We sit in the gazebo, and I'm like, so I'ma just come out and say it. I'm feeling you, and I feel like you're feeling me, but I'm not sure, and this camp is gonna end soon. So I just want to see what's up. You feel me? And then she kind of like giggles, right? And then she's like, yeah, I like you too. I lean in, and then we kiss. It wasn't long, it wasn't crazy, no tongue, because again, church camp, but that almost made it like nicer.
He got
you
the
know?
girl,
And I
he
was
got the
proud of
girl.
myself for having the balls to do it. Sure, looking back, shit was corny, right? But at 17, I didn't know anything about anything. Although, I swore I was the man. You know, I just pulled the cutest girl at camp. You couldn't tell me shit, nigga. It could've stopped me. Big bags, I got. And then we spent the last 4 days booed up. You know, dudes was calling her my girlfriend.
No, tell me they
wasn't
broke up
talking
after the little 4 days.
Camp ends, and we take the bus back to Kingston, where we first got picked up. Everyone got back their phones, which they took from us, by the way. And then I go find Shorty to get her number, because I'm like, oh, this is my girlfriend now. You know? She gives me her number, but she tells me that it's for the house phone of like her aunt's house where she's staying. And then she tells me that she's gonna get a Jamaican phone soon, and when she does, she'll text me. But in the meantime, I should call the house phone. So we exchange numbers, my mom picks me up, and she's amazed, by the way, in how little over a week I went from being depressed to just radiating joy. So I get home, I turn on my new gospel rap that I got put onto. It was Lecrae and Andy Mineo, and I'm just so happy, bro.
Look,
right? So
a
couple days go by, and I'm like, okay, time to call Shorty, right? I find the number she gave me, and I call it. It rings, keeps ringing, then I get hit with the person you're trying to reach isn't available message. You know, no option to leave a voicemail. So I'm like, okay, cool. Try again tomorrow.
Nah.
Same thing happens.
Thanks,
Try again one more time the next day, nothing. And then I start to think, oh wow, I'm never gonna hear from this girl ever again. But we only kissed like a handful of times, and we only knew each other for like a week, right? So I wasn't heartbroken.
He gonna get depressed again.
I was bummed, right? Maybe a couple more days pass, and then out of the blue, I get a text. Guess who? Shorty got her Jamaican phone. And long story short, we end up trying to do the whole long distance thing. You know, she goes off to college in Florida, I go to college in California, and as many of you may have guessed, that shit don't work. So after maybe like a couple of weeks of us being at our new colleges, starting our new lives as young adults, we mutually agree to go our separate ways. And I was very okay with it, you know? And at that point, something occurred to me, you know? I realized that I was no longer sad about my ex from high school. And I was now single, happy, and starting college in California. Moral of the story,
Can't
right?
beat
Sometimes
that, man. Can't beat that.
People will come into your life at what seems like the perfect time. And while they're here, it's great. But not everyone is meant to stay in your life. And when it's time for them to go, let them go freely. And instead of being sad that they're gone, be grateful for whatever blessings they brought you while they were here.
Alright, you guys, so that was Young Don, the Sauce Guy, my church camp girlfriend. It was a cute little romantic little love story. But yeah, like I said, he went to camp, got him a new boo. He booed up now, but like I say, I don't think long distance relationships work anyway. So, but it was cute. Until the next video, you guys, I'm out here. Alright.